I mean, I
What?
I got to imagine that's more racist than just knowing the words.
Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the Doctor himself.
Hello.
Each week, we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
That's right.
That's right. The
Baby.
only way it's ever going to be.
Yeah. We'll never answer questions from people that didn't ask them to us.
I'll never listen to those.
I mean, it came out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We've definitely already done it.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Just do it every episode now.
You know, just to be safe.
Yeah. We've got no reviews.
We do. I just didn't put one in the doc.
Oh, not my problem. I guess another week goes
but
by.
we do need more.
We're not getting closer.
I'll kill you.
Fucking zero chill today. Jesus.
I'm all out of comedy.
Yeah, you chose violence.
I used up all of my best comedy in the break between episodes.
I mean, that's true.
Recording.
We were like, we were fucking like so tight downstairs.
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll never hear it.
No, not now.
We've tried that, repeating things. It doesn't work.
Never works. Yeah, no, this is the final episode of May.
The podcast.
Of May. Hashtag last year of the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
And so our Golden Age patrons got to pick between a bunch of the themes this month were, properties DC had acquired over the years.
Oh.
And the one they picked was the Freedom Fighters.
Interesting.
Originally from Quality Comics.
I feel like I have some Freedom Fighters, maybe. But
I have some of like the older DC stuff. I don't have any of the Quality Comics stuff or any of like the old issues of Police Comics or anything like that.
Sure, yeah.
National Comics, but I have some of the older DC stuff. I've got the newer, like most recent Freedom Fighters series and things like that. But I thought this would be a fun one. This is a team we don't talk about a ton. And I'm excited to get into it.
How have you engaged with with these characters prior to this?
Probably first time I would have encountered them would have been probably like Infinite Crisis. They're like in the event. They're implicated in the
as everyone is. Yeah,
it's a big event. That's why I like giving people big event books. You just be like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, just throw someone in the direct middle of it. That's a great way to get someone interested.
You pick up any comic, but at least my point is in event comics, everyone is there, and then you can go, who the fuck is that? And you can go like,
sure,
dig deeper and get interested in something that you might not have seen otherwise if you were like just handing someone a Batman comic or something. So, but it probably would have been in there, and then kind of like being like, was that Uncle Sam? and then being like, oh, Uncle Sam's a thing in DC, and then learning about that and
awesome.
and then digging deeper and learning more of the history of the. I mean, not that I know a ton, but just knowing that they weren't always DC characters. They came from Quality Comics, which coincidentally is also where Plastic Man comes from.
Oh, really?
Quality Comics.
Oh,
Plastic Man and the Freedom Fighters are like the big acquisitions that DC made.
So does Elastic exist already at the same time, or
Elongated Man?
Yeah, sorry, Elongated Man.
He's already. Well, he was DC's answer to that.
Because I'm always like, how do they end up with two of them? Right? Yeah.
The DC buys Plastic Man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got a bunch of questions. Why don't we just jump right in.
Let's do it.
First question comes from Facebook.
Going to the face and the book. Going to the Facebook.
First question comes from the most interesting resident. That's right. You haven't had to do this in a while. You don't have your computer or nothing.
Andrew Delgado? Fuck, Stephen Marion Almagro.
Yeah, obviously, who else? I don't know who Andrew Delgado is.
You're all different to me, baby. I swear to God.
God, did you say
this is why name? We should have had different drops for everyone?
We have very interesting different drops for everybody. I don't know what you're talking about. This is the one for Stephen Marion Almagro, which is the most interesting resident, and nobody else has that. God. who asks,
Cut to like 17 minutes from now when we get to an Andrew Delgado question.
Start watch. Stephen Marion Almagro asks, why in the hell would you name yourself the Human Bomb?
Because I'm da bomb. So the Human Bomb is part of the Freedom Fighters, obviously. There's been a few different humans bomb. But the main one, his name is Roy Lincoln, and the original idea, I don't remember how well some of these origins like survived coming over to DC. Sure. and various retcons and that. But the original idea is that he is like the son of scientists who are working on like a compound that is explosive or to be used for weapons or whatever, and it's during the war, and the Germans attack, and I think his parents are killed, and to prevent them from getting their hands on the chemical, he drinks it.
I got to eat all the mushrooms. That's why the cops don't see.
We were like, they break into a psychology lab instead of like a weapons manufacturer. It's like, quick, eat all the LSD.
Yeah.
We can't let the Nazis get their hands on this, on our stash. Yeah, so he eats it, and it changes his body so that anytime he makes contact with something, basically it delivers so much energy it explodes. So he has to basically permanently
I have that with myself.
He has to permanently wear like a special suit that like, I can't remember what it's made of.
He's a rogue? A rogue situation? Yeah.
That idea, where he can't actually make contact with something. So he wears this big suit that, like, looks like almost like a radiation suit kind of thing. But he'd take a glove off and he'd touch something and it'll blow up. Nice. And I think over the years he could control, like, kind of how much something would blow up. Like, I think he could, like, I think if he like used two hands, it'd be like, this thing's really gonna blow. Or if it was something big.
But is he like impervious to the explosion?
Yes.
Sure.
So the explosions don't hurt him. He has a level of invulnerability to that. Yeah. But yeah, he can cause explosions. And then so there have been other human bombs, including
humans bomb,
including like I think his own like grandson or whatever in like the most recent Freedom Fighters series. But yeah, I mean that's the general idea.
Wow. Well, there you go. Human bomb.
Oh, sorry. The question was, why would you call yourself a human bomb? He's a human bomb.
He's a bomb that's a human.
Am I alone in thinking that's like the simple names of heroes, like the ones you expect to have been taken already, are like often like kind of dope.
Man, or
yeah. But like, I kind of like those, right? Like, I don't need everyone to like. I didn't love that thing with the Legion where they're like, oh, instead of Triplicate Girl, now I'm Triad. It's like, we don't all need a cool fucking name.
Already, that's also a thing already.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that they're what we're looking for the Legion.
Yeah, and I don't think they're okay with you using it.
Okay. So like, I like the idea that he's like, well, what am I? I'm a human bomb. Yeah, that works.
That works, yeah.
Yeah.
We're the shitty Beatles. Are they any good?
I don't remember from the book though if it was like if it's one of those things where he's like, I shall call myself the human, or if it's like the newspapers are like, human bomb stops.
Sure.
I don't remember what the setup of how he gets the name is, but yeah.
All right, let's leave Facebook and head on over to Twitter.
Twitter.
First question comes from Mosaic Comics, who asks, this team always comes back but never manages to stay. What lessons could be learned from the other retro/patriotic characters that could help the Freedom Fighters thrive in the modern day? Yeah, like January 6th guy. Anti-masker.
Yeah. Her emails, lad.
Yeah. The lock her up.
Oh, God.
Freedom Fighters.
Right. Yeah, Mr. Convoy. Oh, Jesus. It's an interesting question. The Freedom Fighters are an interesting team. So first of all, I haven't said it explicitly yet. I'm taking things for granted that people know who the Freedom Fighters are. So because even in quality comics, the Freedom Fighters, like the story of them.
Yeah.
See, now I might be fucking my shit up here. I don't remember if this was always the premise from the quality comics or if it was just when DC acquired them. But essentially, from when DC acquired them, they put them on an Earth called Earth X. Those were the
sweet
quality comics. And the Freedom Fighters lived on an Earth where World War II didn't end.
Oh, what a dream.
So they were still fighting the Nazis.
Yeah.
So they were, like the Nazis were like trying to invade America, and then Uncle Sam, and it was like, they're fighting evil, right? So that was the setup there. And then eventually, because of Crisis, they got folded into the one history.
Yeah.
Like some of these characters are like Golden Age characters. Uncle Sam's first appearance is in like 1940 or some shit like that. Like, so then they were kind of like put in the same generation as like the Justice Society and the All-Star Squadron and stuff like that. They were the wartime heroes. And then, because of magic or other properties or like lineages, they still existed in the present day. But truly, outside of just a couple of series, the Freedom Fighters they had a little bit of a run in All-Star Squadron. They had their own series. They've maybe had 3 series for DC. The most recent one, most of them are like new versions of the characters because it takes place like later in the timeline or whatever. Why don't they work? Because here's the thing. It's not just Uncle Sam. I think we could kind of guess why Uncle Sam might not work. Yeah. But like the rest of them, like Human Bomb, who, we just talked about, can make things explode. Phantom Lady, who can go intangible and stuff like that. Doll Man, who can shrink. Black Condor can fly. Firebrand. There's cool characters with interesting powers. They exist in DC. They have been used on occasion, but
is it the name? Like,
I don't know if it's I don't know that I can isolate what it is, other than maybe it's kind of like the thing we were talking about with Jolie last week, which is like, what are the other big gripes people have with the other acquired characters of DC? It's that they don't show up enough. The Charlton characters, really, the Question and Blue Beetle have fared the best, but like, where's Nightshade? Peacemaker right now is having a bit of a moment, but really before that, where the fuck was Peacemaker?
Yeah.
Captain Atom. We've talked about Captain Atom and like how DC doesn't know what to do with him. Yeah. We've talked about Wildstorm. Right now, again, there's like a little bit of a moment with the Authority and Grifter and stuff, but like truly, it's not like they really managed to fold in all the Wildcats and stuff like that. We're getting some of those characters, but it always feels like it's effort.
Yeah. For
DC to do that, And I don't think it's malicious. I don't think they buy these characters and then go, great, now ground them. But I think it's you look at like, who do we have? And you kind of go, whoa. And like, I think maybe the thing with the Freedom Fighters is because they're so tied to the war, even though the war on their Earth lasted a lot longer. And right now in continuity, Earth 10 is that world and they exist there. They're not, I don't recall
is that,
seeing.
Is that the whole X thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like maybe that's part of it, is they're too tied to fighting Nazis. I mean, but there's
like the perfect time.
But there's
for
your
that.
ticket. Yeah, if you were gonna like, is it heavy-handed? Like, yes, but so is Uncle Sam. So
sure,
if there's if there's a time for it.
I guess the problem is like their readership. There's a contingency that may not be.
Yeah, I don't know that they really care about that. DC's leaning pretty hard on putting out like kind of Pride adjacent books, and the Robert Venditti, Eddie Barrows Freedom Fighter series.
He's just going by Diddy now.
Sorry. V Diddy. That only ended like a couple of years ago. It like came out in the Trump presidency because
Oh, really?
Nazis.
Oh, okay, sure. Well,
So
then,
like
yeah.
people have
Then go for it.
taken that thing, but truly, I don't know why they don't stick around more.
Just nobody had a story.
Certainly, maybe the problem is because people only conceive of them together as a team. Maybe it's more interesting. It's like maybe we should just like let the human bomb show up in The Flash. Maybe we should let Black Condor and Hawkman team up. Maybe if we treated them more as individual characters, we'd be able to build some cameos
Totally.
and learn a bit more about them individually. And then we go like, do you know what? I think it is time for a Freedom Fighters book. And then we we do something, or even like the Freedom Fighters get an arc or a couple of issues in a different book. How the Doom Patrol showed up in World's Finest or shit like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. I think it's a tricky.
Good reason.
It's a tricky question.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next question. From Braydon, the Soapy Donkey, registered trademark, who asks, is there any relation between Phantom Lady and Phantom Girl, or are they just similar names?
So, Phantom Lady is from the Freedom Fighters. She can go intangible. She can fly. She wears like a green cape and a yellow bathing suit, basically.
Sure.
This Phantom Lady, remember in last week's episode when I was like, they're connected to Starman? I was like, oh shit, that's for a different episode.
This is
Phantom Lady.
Okay.
I can't remember her first name, but she's from like the Knight family. And they DC eventually retconned it, so she was also from Opal City, which is where like Ted Knight, the original Starman, was the protector of Opal City, and so they connect actually her sort of tangentially. She's like a distant cousin or something of the Knights of Opal City, which is an interesting, fun way to be like, we have two characters with the same last name.
Yes.
Why did you say that name?
But
as far as
Phantom Girl,
so Phantom Girl, Legion of Superheroes, similar powers.
Oh,
she can go intangible.
Huh.
And fly and stuff like that.
Weird.
But she's an alien. She comes from the planet Bugzatul. There's no vowels.
Of course.
And her powers, though, are like tied to the Phantom Zone. In some versions, the entire planet exists somewhat in phase with the Phantom Zone.
Weird.
And they have a connection to that dimension and can phase kind of in and out. So it is funny that, I mean, I guess it's not crazy that power and the word phantom go together. It is funny that DC has its own kind of like, well, there's this phantom and they're connected. And then they have this other one. They go like, put her with Starman.
Yeah.
But as far as I can tell, unless there's an issue out there that I'm just like a single issue of something that I'm missing.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell from everything that I read, I don't think there is any connection whatsoever between the lineage of the Phantom Lady and Phantom Girl of the Legion of Superheroes, which is interesting. Because, like, funny enough, like there is, I think, some established there was some established lore linking Martian telepathy to Saturn Girl. She's from Titan, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like, well, so there's Gem, son of Saturn, and he's like a Martian cousin.
Yeah.
Like they established kind of a like, hey, how did telepathy get there or whatever sort of thing. We have other things that connect in kind of that way, but that's not one of them.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
Sort of odd, eh?
Yeah. Feels like there's an opportunity there, but.
And again, maybe this is my answer to the previous question, is maybe the problem is people only think of them as a team.
Yeah.
And don't try to find like, well, what would be a cool like solo adventure?
Yeah.
Even for one or two issues with someone else.
Yeah.
For Phantom Lady or for Doll Man or whatever,
yeah.
you know?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next question from There's Nobody Here Named Josh, who asks, how do they like their fries? Oh, because it's freedom.
Yeah, they like them French.
Oh my God.
Vive la libération.
Wow, that's a thing never said.
I mean, but they're fighting the Nazis. If anything, they should be pro-French. Because they're trying to, trying to free France, trying to free the world.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like,
So if anything, the freedom fighters probably love French fries.
in fact,
They're buying wine and drinking it, not dumping it down the sewer.
they're actually calling other things French that aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have an example.
Yeah, they only eat French toast, even though it's really.
I mean, that's already a thing, though. I thought you were going to add French to things that don't already have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Right.
Wine.
No.
Oh shit. Hold on. I got this.
The problem is
Cheese.
a lot of things already have French in front of them.
Baguettes.
Doors. Kiss.
There, now we're talking.
Tickler.
Oh. Wow, you came up with that real quick.
You know. Flipper trick.
Flipper, I barely know her.
Show her the old French flipper trick.
All right. Let's move on.
Enough of that.
Yeah. Well, this is not about fun. Let's leave Twitter and head on over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them.
First question comes from Robbie's Just This Guy, who asks, what is Human Bomb's deal? That's a real fucking stump chunkman question.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
If he's da bomb, or is he radioactive and thus cannot know the loving touch of another? Were the Germans also trying to develop a human bomb?
Well, so this is the thing we were talking about, right? So he does wear a suit that looks more like a radioactive containment suit,
Yeah.
but again, he cannot enjoy the touch of anyone else because he'd explode them.
I mean, I've got that problem. I can't touch people.
Were the Germans trying to develop a human bomb? Whether or not they were, that's certainly what he thought. That's why he was like, shit, I better drink this thing that turned him into the human bomb, right? Because he was like, they can't get their hands.
Lucky that that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, that's also like Bouncing Boy, where they're like, remember, don't drink this. And he's like, I'm so thirsty. And he drinks this thing.
That's how it...
But yeah, I mean...
You drank the potion, so you get nothing.
But that is the human bomb's deal. Is like you said, a kind of rogue situation, although well before rogue, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Next question comes from the most interesting resident.
Time check, 17 minutes.
Holy shit!
Did you feel me speeding through the last answer of it?
I didn't.
But
oh my god.
King of the podcast.
Oh my god.
I'm a fucking pro.
You planned it out this way. I'll never tell.
I can't even control how long my set is. There's no way that was totally luck.
That's crazy. Delgado Andrew asks,
Yeah, baby.
so what do we think of the New 52 Freedom Fighters? I only read them in Multiversity, but Sivana's involvement gave them a low-key sinister vibe. Did they ever follow up on that thread?
So, in the Multiversity, which was a Morrison book, there were all these different one-shots that took place on different Earths.
Yeah.
One of those one-shots is called Multiversity Mastermen, and it takes place on Earth 10, and we see the what do they call the Nazi Justice League? They have a name. The new Reichsman.
Oh,
I think is the name of the Nazi Justice League. So there's Overman.
Yes.
There's Underwater Man.
Yes. Wow.
Leather Wing.
Not Underman?
Well, no, because that's how you would say it in German. They go like Unterwasserman.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Yeah.
You know. There's Brunhilde instead of Wonder Woman.
Nice.
So Blitzen for the Flash.
And
instead of a lightning bolt, it's a SS.
Oh,
on
cool.
his,
I mean, not cool, but
Easy.
nice.
Uh-oh.
That's very nice.
9. So we meet them, and the premise on that Earth, and this is, DC gets to do this now, once they own Quality Comics, as they go, okay, well, so not only on this Earth does the war keep going, not only on this Earth is, they kind of ask the question, like, how does the war keep going? How do the Nazis keep it up, even with the freedom fighters fighting on the side of the Allies, who we know win?
Yeah.
And the answer is that Superman lands in occupied Czechoslovakia.
Oh.
and is raised as like the personal kind of weapon of Hitler. Masterman does what I think is a very interesting thing, which is almost like the Red Sun thing, which is like this Overman is like raised under Nazism. He's raised to believe in superiority, like all of that shit, and the Aryan race and stuff like that. But the premise is almost like that he's like off planet for a bit, and then he comes back and he goes, "What the hell did you do here?" Like he didn't know.
Oh.
They give him like a weird plausible deniability thing. He has like a weird kind of guilt complex about like how far they went,
Sure.
Which is like, whatever. You can take that or leave that, but it's something. There's some like nuance in there. And I think they do it because they're like, I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. But at any rate, in that Mastermen story, they're taking over. I think they've taken over America, and like Overman is there, and they're watching like the Ring Cycle. They watch Wagner's opera every year. It's German supremacy, all this kind of stuff, and at it, no one's heard from them in a while. But like then Uncle Sam, a big kind of hologram or whatever shows up and goes, you fucking Nazi scum, you pieces of shit. You think you got America? You got another thing coming. And Human Bomb has snuck onto the new Reichsman satellite and blown it up and sent it crashing into Metropolis. And
that's cool.
Like their freedom fighting is more like actual freedom fighting, whereas like there are casualties. It is guerrilla warfare. Wow. It's essentially terrorism, but we're on their side.
That's cool as hell.
It's like a resistance thing, and that's the one shot, and then you kind of leave it, and you go like, oh shit, crazy that happened on that Earth. And then a few years later, V. Diddy and Eddie Barrows do a Freedom Fighters book that takes place several decades after that, because if you imagine, Clark has to like land around the time of the actual war.
Yeah.
So if you go to the modern day, it's been quite some time since the events of that one shot, since the new Reichsmen were wiped out or whatever.
Yeah.
And we enter a world where a new Freedom Fighters team forms, and some of them are like the grandchildren of the originals, and some of them are like different, but they've got the same powers or whatever. And their whole goal is we need to bring Uncle Sam back. And to do it, they need to get the spirit. Uncle Sam's powers are fueled by the spirit of America.
Of course.
So they
it's
need
like Santa Claus.
So they need to like reignite the spirit of America in a world that has been Nazi dominated for decades.
So they play "Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm freedom fighters."
So they start taking all these like symbolic things. You take down a statue, you attack a thing, and
fucking eagle,
like all this kind of America, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Interesting in that series is they go even further and they go, hey, who else is a quality comics character? And they go,
oh,
Plastic Man.
Whoa!
And so the Nazis have the Plastic Men with two S's, the SS, the Plast SS.
Fucking alright, like.
And they're kind of like their super powered agents. You think Overman is there, and you're like, "Oh shit, it's Overman." You learn it's actually that world's Hank Henshaw. He's the cyborg Overman.
Whoa!
Instead of cyborg Superman. Very interesting. You're dealing with like Hitler's grandson or whatever is like the leader, and they reignite the spirit of America. And Uncle Sam comes back, and they start kicking the Nazis' ass. And that book ends with, and I think this is the most fascinating idea of it, that book ends with their fight starts rekindling the national avatars of other countries.
Whoa.
So like some like British, like with like a bowler hat or whatever, like Marianne in France. You've probably seen the woman in the gown is emblematic of the French Revolution. You see her show up. So they kind of expand the mythos a bit to be like, if there's an Uncle Sam, there are other like national avatars.
Sure.
Which I thought is kind of like a neat idea because I'm a lore whore.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You cheap lore whore.
Sorry, did I answer the question at all?
Yeah, it was. What did you think of the New 52 Freedom Fighters?
Right. So that all happens in that. Post New 52. So that is the most current version of the Freedom Fighters we have.
Yeah, and then Savannah's involvement gave them a low-key sinister vibe.
Right. So part of it is that some of the new Freedom Fighters get their powers from Dr. Savannah with a K.
Sure.
But when you think about it, because on this Earth, the Justice League decades ago were Nazis, it stands to reason that if some of our main universe counterparts are on that Earth, as well as the Freedom Fighters, that it would be some of maybe the villains who would be
like
on the side of
good or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Dr. Savannah is not good. He has his own agenda, and the Legion of Savannahs is a thing that happens in Multiversity, where like all the Savannahs of the multiverse.
We say you're not gonna do this no more.
We got a little Minjula.
That's right. We're gonna stop you from doing this on bad.
Yeah, a little bit of cosmic sweet tea.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, wait one cotton pick a minute.
Yeah. So I mean, Dr. Savannah. I think it stands a little bit to reason that he would take on that kind of role when you consider the position that the Justice League had on that world. Yeah. But also, it's not a full flip. He's not like a good guy. He's got his own shit going on. So you're right. There is a sort of like, but again, if you examine like what is freedom fighting in this case,
January 6th,
I think, the Venditti book Venditti Barrow's book does a good job of painting it about like, we're going to take some of these actions that are dangerous to us, and like there are going to be casualties, but the hope is that
we've got zip ties.
The hope is that we're inspiring others to action. But it also, like, I do think it's fair for that book to be like, it's messy. Like, being on the right side of history doesn't make you clean. You have, if you're in that position, you have to fight for it.
You got to take a shit on someone's desk.
Yeah, I mean, that's maybe not where I was going with it.
What? It's dirty. I get it. So we're saying the same thing, I think.
Uh-oh. But you know what I mean? Like, I do think that, so I don't think it's like crazy to have Dr. Savannah in there, because I think it just adds to that, like, it's untidy. It's war. It's messy. It's war. It's even in the MCU with that Captain America that we have, who is great and like very moral and things like that. He has a whole thing in the Winter Soldier where like Nick Fury's like, you're going to get on my ass about my like pre-crime warships. And Cap says like, yeah, we made compromises. We did some stuff that made us not sleep well at night, but we did it because we wanted people to be free. So even that Cap is like, yeah, like we weren't perfect. Like we fucked it up.
Yeah.
I do think that book does a good job of that.
Totally. All right, well, let's head over. We're leaving Instagram and heading it over to the Doc Scored.
The
Doc Scored. I'm just fucking trying to do the podcast. You can't keep up.
Who put the docs in the Doc Scored?
Wow, you did, baby. You did. Wow.
Who put the scored in that Doc Scored? You did, Doc Scored. You did, Doc Scored.
There you go. You proud of yourself?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be.
Keep a docs on scored while I'm gone. Keep a docs on things.
Save it for the next episode.
Oh, yeah. That's heavy metal.
Yeah. I didn't say heavy metal. It's metal-ish.
It's not even that.
Yeah, it's
you
fine.
Crash test dummies. I can't wait to see what you have decided is metal. By the way, when they're listening to this, it was last week's double.
Wait till last week's episode. Just you wait till last week's episode.
Just you wait, fired backwards through time.
Oh, man. It's going to be a long night.
You really don't do well with like any sort of recording out of order.
No, thank you. I also don't care.
Wow.
More importantly,
I think that comes across.
This isn't for them. This is always... It's always been just for you.
I mean, that's... I don't disagree with that.
The mics are just on.
Yeah.
All right. The first question from the Doc Scored comes from Siege the Box. What's in the box?
We'll find out in 6 months to 4 years.
Oh my God.
We're going to lay siege to this box.
Set your next timer.
Set the timer. Time check.
Could you imagine we're recording and it lines up? 6 months from now, like 30 episodes.
Yeah, we finally find out what was in the box.
Siege the box. Jesus Christ. Siege the box asks.
Siege the Bach.
Yeah.
Oh, someone likes classical music.
Siege the box asks, does Uncle Sam still work as a character in today's world, given how the U.S. has conducted itself since his creation?
Yeah, I mean, whew. First of all, I think it's important to mention that Uncle Sam's existence and powers have changed slightly over time.
Okay.
It used to be that like the founding fathers did like ritual magic and imbued like a amulet with the spirit of America. But then like there'd have to be like a host. So like someone would be charged with the amulet. And then it would transform them into Uncle Sam. And part of Uncle Sam's powers are like size manipulation. He can get really big. He's also super strong, invulnerable, all that kind of stuff. But he's sort of morphed. The current version of Uncle Sam, the most recent version that I was just talking about, is like a literal like spiritual avatar. He only exists like as a thought form.
Okay.
Kind of Tulpa-esque, I guess.
Sure, yeah. Which is hence why if you don't believe in him, it doesn't.
Yeah, and I mean,
fucking Santa Claus.
I think there's probably instances where if the belief wavers, the amulet would have wavered before, but he would just revert to whoever he was.
Sure.
In this version, he's like nothing until there is, until there is belief.
Yeah.
Right. So first of all, there's that. I do think that it's deliberate. That the idea is if a very specific belief of what the spirit of America is doesn't exist, he disappears. I think it would be interesting to say what happens if the belief shifts. Mm-hmm. So it's not that people don't believe in America, but what if they believe America is something different?
Oh, very tough.
What does that do to Uncle Sam? And I'm not sure offhand that I can think of a good version of that story that's happened. Maybe it has, and I'm not thinking of it, but that feels to me like the next version.
Yeah, Uncle Sam becomes a villain.
It's not like, because the thing in that Freedom Fighters series is like the Nazis are like destroying any sort of a thing of Americana. They're like, if any of this exists, Uncle Sam can come back. So we have to crush the idea of America. But it would be different if it was just like no, like we just have a perverted idea of America, not no idea.
Yeah.
Right. What does that do to him, especially now that he's only a thought form? That's a lot different.
I feel like you're gonna get like a Jekyll Hyde version of him, like,
well, but maybe you'd get that too even with the host version where he's like, imagine you're like you're the host of the Spectre and the Spectre's like, I think I'm gonna do this, and you go like, no, I'm fucking not. Like, think of the Hal Spectre series where he's like, I'm going to change your mission to redemption, and the Spectre's like, I fucking think not.
That would be
and
good.
That was that thing. But if you had the host but the spirit of America is going like, fuck the immigrants, and you go like, fucking not.
Yeah. I would fucking read that.
It would be interesting, but I think it's grim.
I mean, yeah. I
think it's pretty fucked up. I mean, it is important to say when they talk about the spirit of America, we're talking about a very lofty, idealized thing that never existed.
Yeah.
But it's the dream, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I guess what we're talking about is what happens if the dream shifts to match reality. Mm-hmm. Uncle Sam has never been, even the character Uncle Sam has been like, America's kind of fucked up before. He said it. Because he's always supposed to be like, but I could be the, he's supposed to be a guiding light kind of thing. So there's always been an intellectual or not always, but there has been in past an intellectual acknowledgement of the disparity between what Uncle Sam is meant to represent and where his power comes from versus what is the reality of America.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting if that line blurred, where it's like the reality has now informed the belief, and changes his fundamental nature.
Does Uncle Sam like look like Uncle Sam from?
Yeah.
Yeah. Figured.
Yeah. 100%.
Big stripy pants and everything.
Yeah, big stripy pants, big stripy hat. He can grow to like whatever, like 100 feet tall. In that kind of like American folktale sort of thing. But yeah.
Nice. All right, next question comes from Bruno.
I just want to say this. I do kind of like in that more recent one, he always calls them ratsies. Instead of Nazis, he calls them like rats. He goes like, you fucking ratsies.
Oh.
Like Uncle Sam is like tough as nails.
Yeah, I like it.
I kind of dig that.
That's cool.
You know.
Next question.
Yeah.
Comes from Bruno.
Richard.
What?
We don't talk about.
I mean, yeah. Why?
Because he lives in the walls.
Yeah. You're gonna break through and choke us out.
Yeah.
Any moment.
Yeah. He lives in the walls in a sand room,
waiting for the smallest mistake before he reacts.
Yeah. We just hear like tumbling down through the wall. Like, actually, Freedom Fighters 13.
That's a very good accent.
I wasn't. Sorry. Hang on. Actually, Freedom Fighters.
Wow. That's a great Irish accent.
Irish, Portuguese.
Yeah.
You name it, I'll butcher it.
It's obviously the perfect combination of the two. Bruno asks, who would the archetypal Uncle Sam favor, Batman or Superman? Give us your reasoning, specifically in regards to the different facets of the American dream and the mythos both characters represent, which is very interesting when you consider that. Okay. Because your knee-jerk reaction is Superman.
Sorry. Hang on. We're saying, if we're imagining the sort of host version of, is Batman or Superman a better version?
No. It's who would Uncle Sam favor?
Oh, I see. Oh, wait. What do you mean?
Like, who does Uncle Sam like get along with more? Right.
I mean, if we're talking the archetypal version of Uncle Sam, then it almost has to be Superman.
Really, I would.
Yeah, because someone who works with their hands, who appreciates hard work and dedication to family, and you get a job and you do the right thing and you earn your way. That's all of that kind of American dream bullshit, which of course in real life they've put up so many obstacles that that's not a real thing. But in an ideal world, it's like, if you work hard and you try and you're kind and you blah, 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 then you will get your success and you will be the person you're meant to be. Right? It has to be Superman if it's the archetype. If we're talking the reality of America, maybe it is Batman. Maybe you are like a troubled individual who does not, give himself the help and space he requires, who is driven
by.
How
I see it.
You know what I mean?
Because I see it as like the guy who seemingly doesn't have powers and has to like pull himself up by his bootstraps. And
I know what you're. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But he's born into money. He's raised by money. I still think it's Superman. Superman is, even just on a fundamental level, Superman is like Americana.
Yeah.
So if we're talking
ideal.
These kind of wispy ideas of things that may or may not have ever existed, Superman's one of them.
Yeah.
That's to me.
I don't disagree. I just can see it both ways.
Sure. Yes. Yeah.
There's good people on both sides.
Say Batman is like bootstrapping it.
I know.
With only a $20 million loan from his parents.
It's Trump.
Yeah. Or Bezos. Yeah. It's all of them.
Yeah. Which is so American.
Well, but this is what I mean. If we're not talking about the archetype, if we're talking about the reality, then I think there's more of a case there.
Sure, yeah. All right. Well, he doesn't say archetype. He says specifically in regards to the different facets of the American dream and the mythos behind what both characters represent.
Yeah, I mean,
there says who would the archetypal Uncle Sam favor, but
I mean. I gotta think it's still Superman, right?
I think that's the
Because
classic American dream.
Superman also feels like, it's like steeped in like tradition, and you look after your family, and you do the dishes, and you help with the chores, and you go to school, and you get a girlfriend, and you get a job, and you buy, like, Superman has such like a trajectory of like I could see Superman fitting in that, like, like a turkey in every oven, and
that's the classic, I think, American dream. And I think Batman represents the sort of modern American dream, which is just like, you do what you have to do, you step on whoever you can so you can get to the top.
Except here's the thing, you're still describing the American reality. They're being fed the dream.
But I think that's become the new dream.
I don't know that that's the dream. Do you dream of stepping on people to the way to the top? Or do you have to do that because the dream failed you?
But I think that they've turned that into the dream. I think that's what they're being sold.
I think I disagree there. I think they're still selling the dream. That's the problem. That's the Democrat thing of like, we'll do nothing and it'll fix itself. Of like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, if you get out and vote, it'll be fine. And go like, we did vote. What are you doing? Like, they're selling all of the same fucking platitudes, but it doesn't work. No, I think what you're describing is the reality, not the dream. The problem is they still say, like, if you work hard and you go to college, you get a job. And then everyone went to college, and now they have hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, and there are no jobs because nobody did anything, and no one helped, and all the banks are unchecked, and all the billionaires are unchecked, and no one's paying their fair share. And I think the fundamental problem is that thing you're describing doesn't jive with the dream that is still being sold.
Yeah.
I think people are smart enough now to recognize or more increasingly recognizing it. But I don't know that they've shifted the dream to be like, cut any throat, step on any skull, get to the top.
I mean, I don't know.
I think I know, but what I'm saying is, I'm not saying someone wouldn't say that or feel that way, but I'm saying that's not the dream. No one is running for president. Well, I shouldn't even say that.
This is what I mean.
The world's topsy-turvy. But what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying. I just think that like that.
I don't think that is the dream. I think that is what's happening because the
but
dream
they're also selling.
fails.
But I think they're also selling that idea.
Are they selling that?
I think they are.
I don't think they are. I think it's just
Americans. Let us know.
You know what I mean? Maybe like a contingent is, but you know what I mean when you think of like, if someone was running in an election, and whether or not they're telling the truth or it's lies, what is the sort of like image of prosperity they're going to throw out there? Do you think do you think it's really about like, and fuck everyone?
I think that was Trump.
No. But it wasn't even Trump. Trump's big lie is that you could be Trump.
Yeah.
Right? The big lie was, he was saying, fuck immigrants, fuck brown people, fuck blah, blah, blah. But he was saying to you, straight, white, in heavy quotes, normal Americans, the way they would say it.
Yeah.
He's saying, if you work hard, you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps just the way I did. He's lying to them, but he's selling the original American dream.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
I just feel like it is steeped so much in this like you fucking like strap up and defend yourself, and like that's the best way to do it. And like,
well, I know that messaging is out there, but again, that's because they're othering whole swaths of America.
Yeah.
But what they're saying to their people is still, once we deal with all of this, you work hard, you'll get wherever you want to go.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
It's probably both, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Chan180, who asks, were Uncle Sam's powers and personality to draw from a particular administration? What would his powers, personality be under the Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden administration?
Right. So if we imagine that instead of being just the dream spirit of America, if Uncle Sam, like from personality and powers, was fundamentally altered administration to administration, what would listen, Clinton era Uncle Sam, that guy throws a party.
Yeah.
So I guess also like going to Epstein's Island a lot.
Bush?
Yeah, that
kind of dumb.
Yeah, like I guess he's like a little dumb and like prone to
tantrums.
Quick. Well, I wasn't going to say tantrums, but I was going to say prone to like poor planning, like reacting without thinking, lashing out sort of thing. Obama.
That's Superman. Yeah.
Well, yeah, except like Obama was still like drone striking a bunch of people.
Look, sometimes you gotta.
I guess that I mean maybe that Uncle Sam is
Yeah.
like the eminent politician, right? Someone who's like extremely inspiring, but like maybe whose actions don't hold up to scrutiny so well.
Yeah.
Trump, ugh, Jesus. Yeah, a garbage fire at a hot tub party. That's that's a pretty bad one. Biden. I mean the Biden one maybe more than any other one is just like you did your part. I'm here. I think it's fine now, but they like it would do nothing.
Let's just coast.
Yeah. 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 I mean that's kind of depressing and bad. Sort of bummed me out, Chan. Thanks.
Next question.
Jesus.
Coming from
Growltham cities.
Growltham. Oh, okay. I was like, is that a one or a Growltham city citizen who asks, is there a particular reason for the Freedom Fighters costumes designs are so bad? Mainly thinking Firebrand and Human Bomb.
I don't think they are bad.
Let me take a look.
I like Human Bomb's design. It's very simple.
I'll be the decider.
Here, I'll pull up Human Bomb for you first. Human Bomb. Yeah, here. This is Human Bomb. You know, he's just wearing like a plain.
I mean, that's pretty shitty.
It's fine.
That's
I like
pretty
it
shitty.
simple.
Oh God, who's the guy with the Zorro mask in red?
Oh, is that like a? That's Firebrand.
That's pretty bad.
Well, that's the first Firebrand. I think there's.
Who's the? I like the weird. What's the yellow flying guy?
The yellow flying guy?
Yeah, he's got like a full body suit thing, and
Is it Black Condor? Oh no, that's the Ray.
oh, the Ray. Okay,
Yeah.
that's okay. What about the guy with the blue capey like Zardoz outfit?
That's Black Condor.
Okay, sure. Yeah, these are pretty bad.
Oh, they're fine. Okay, hang on.
I mean, the Human Bomb is literally the worst way that you could do that. Yeah, like that's.
I will admit that some of these original costumes don't hold up quite as well. But you know, like Black Condor. This is like a more recent Black Condor. They kind of reimagined the character.
I mean, that's cool.
That's cool as shit.
yeah, but that's not what he's talking
No,
about.
I know. I know. Ugh.
Was this like a big release for DC when they came, or I guess it's because it was quality, right? So
Yeah.
why is it always the things that call themselves like good quality or good? They're always like the lesser.
So Uncle Sam came out first, like in 1940 or something, in an issue of National Comics. Maybe the first issue of National Comics. And then a bunch of them made their first appearance in Police Comics #1, which is also where Plastic Man first appears. And I think like Phantom Lady, Human Bomb might both be from Police Comics #1. And then they would have made the team the Freedom Fighters after that. So we're talking into the 60s, I guess. Actually, that might be wrong too. Bruno's screaming right now. I theoretically could pick up my phone and check, but
Why would I?
I
Yeah.
won't. Because that's my power. The
right to choose.
Yeah, Bruno. But at any rate, DC acquired those characters, and then Freedom Fighters had like a series, and then they sort of got retconned to be like part of, the All-Star Squadron and stuff like that later. But like, I don't know if they were like huge releases. That's a good question. Or if they were just like fine, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if DC was like, holy shit, we did it, we got quality comics, because they bought them because quality went under. So theoretically, I don't know if that's just because DC and Marvel or Timely or whatever it was at the time like squeezed them out, or if it was because the characters just weren't popular. Or these are all great questions. I'm truly not sure.
I don't want to look.
And yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Next question comes from a Mullet Overlord, who asks, shortly before Crisis, it was revealed that the freedom fighters were Earth 2 natives. How have their origins evolved since then, and which do you prefer for them?
Was that before Crisis? Because wasn't the point in Crisis that Earth X was one of the Earths that got merged into the timeline? It's Earth 1, Earth 2,
Yeah.
Earth S, which was the old Fawcett comics. That's where Captain Marvel is from. Earth X, Quality Comics, and Earth 4, which was Charlton Comics.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the 5 Earths that got merged into one timeline at the end of Crisis or during Crisis. So, unless I'm misremembering, I would have thought the Freedom Fighters would have been the Earth X contingent, because otherwise, why would you include Earth X? But they did get put into the sort of like the time frame of the Justice Society and the All-Star Squadron. So
Yeah.
Even though I'm murky on whether that's pre-Crisis or not, they were kind of lumped in with them, so that they were part of the war era heroes of DC, who again, by magic or succession or whatever, still were operating in the present day. You know, they're a bunch of them die in Infinite Crisis and shit like that. Human Bomb has the worst death in that one.
Does he explode?
Bizarro basically like pummels him to death.
Oh.
And every time he hits him, there's an explosion, but it doesn't hurt Bizarro. And so he just keeps squishing him until Bizarro goes like, no more pretty lights.
Whoa.
And then you're like, oh, Jesus. Like, he just pummeled Human Bomb to death.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was just pretty fucked up. What do I prefer for their origins?
Yeah.
I like them being on Earth X. Now, does that mean that I don't think there can also be, or should also be, like a Prime Earth continuity of them? No, of course not. Especially now that we're in, the Omniverse era, they almost certainly are part of that. With the Justice Society and that. But I do kind of like the crucible that they're born in, which is a world where the Nazis win the war. There's something kind of fascinating narratively and stuff like that for me there, where it's like when you already have the Justice Society, and then you already have after that the Justice League, and that the Freedom Fighters feel like extraneous.
Sure, I get that, yeah.
That's not true, because there's also always multiple superhero teams, but like if we're talking about like why can't they stick around, it's like, well, it's pretty crowded already. Like we still don't have a Justice Society book. We're not going for Prime Continuity Freedom Fighters before them. You know what I mean? So I think I prefer them like on Earth X, where they have their own adventures and their own history, and
I think that's way
their
cooler.
own struggle and stuff like that. I like that for them.
I prefer that.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Fartbutt, who asks, I really like the original Freedom Fighters and was wondering if, wait, what do you mean they were all killed? Firing squad? On national TV? Why?
Yeah, a bunch of them are dead.
What? What do you mean firing squad on national TV?
Now, is that Mastermen, or is that from like the original thing? Sorry. This I will look up, actually.
This is worth it.
Multiversity, Mastermen, Freedom Fighter. As I recall, there is a sort of public execution component of Mastermen. Yeah, Dr. Savannah there. Yeah. As I recall, there is a sort of component that way to that book, but I'm not fully remembering it. But if it's not that one, then it's grim that it happens more than once.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is like a bunch of the Freedom Fighters die, right? That's why in that Venditti series, we're picking up with, like ancestors and new, people picking up mantles and stuff like that, right? Human Bomb bringing down the satellite and all of that kind of shit. Yeah, it's pretty grim. I have to imagine it's from that, but I truly don't remember. But it would, I think I don't think it fits like a different freedom fighters series to have them get gunned down. I think it only makes sense in that context where you're like setting up, this is a very bad world with a Nazi Justice League, and I don't know that there's a version of that really outside of that.
Fair.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to the next question from Archbishop Dan Dunn.
Yeah.
Love it. How does Uncle Sam...
Enjoy your paltry throne while you can.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot you were...
The ass-pocalypse is underway.
Do you have a plan?
Well, 2 of the 4 horsemen of the ass-pocalypse have already shown up on the butt scored.
Is this all you?
I'm Caboosifer Morningstar.
Yeah. So you have a plan.
I do.
Okay.
Just wait. Tremble in ye undies for when the third horse.
Wait, did we get a new sponsor?
Yeah, ye undies. They're really old. Yeah, when the third horseman shows up.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know how whores works with butts, but
don't worry about it. I'm about to burn the entire butt score down.
Wow. I mean, good luck. Archbishop Dan Dunn asks, how does Uncle Sam's power work? I believe in America? Huh? Is he the same type of being as Santa? That's what I've been saying.
I mean, the thing is, he's not. Santa exists in DC, but Santa doesn't. I mean, Santa's magic may slightly... Some of it may slightly rely on belief, but Santa is like a far more concrete being, I would say, than Uncle Sam is. And maybe that's because he's more of like an actual kind of like, in DC, he's more of like an actual myth and stuff. Whereas Uncle Sam is like, at best, like, what, 250 years old or whatever it is?
Yeah.
300 years old. Like, you know, that's really, I mean, I guess Santa is not especially older than that, but yeah, I would say that Santa is considerably more real than Uncle Sam is in the DC cosmology. Uncle Sam's existence is very tenuous, but yeah, it's a belief in the ideals of America, and perhaps it's also maybe it's better expressed as a belief in America to realize those ideals, and those powers are Tulpa-esque in that it's about collective belief and things like that. And there is an element of sort of focus and it's magic in that. I like that thing from the Venditti series where it's like there must be other national avatars, not that every country has one, but the ones that do can manifest them, and I think that's kind of interesting. But the way his powers work has changed, like we talked about. Like, it's no longer like we're in the Omniverse, so all of the continuities open back up again. So someone might come around and say, like, yeah, Earth 10, Uncle Sam, he's like just a literal spirit being, and that's fine. But on Prime Earth, the one that fought with the Justice Society during the war, that guy, like, wears an amulet. He has a host, you know, and maybe that's part of it still. So it's like, in that case, it's very funny that like the founding fathers are doing like ritual, like witchcraft to make the spirit of the country they're about to found and bind it to this like object. It's kind of funny. Sort of interesting. You wonder if that's the context of it. Why you have to ask the question, why would they turn to that?
Yeah.
Are you implying that without the magical power of Uncle Sam, they would lose the Revolutionary War? Or are we implying that there is always an aspect of magic behind the scenes of all of these big world events where it's like, we literally can't beat Britain because they have some sort of like imperial... Yeah. Whatever the imperial version of, you know, of Uncle Sam is, because they have that, and if we're going to fight him, we need to pour all of our independence into that, you know, like whatever the fuck. Like, you know, as somebody that likes like the rules,
Yeah.
I'm interested in that.
Start pulling
shit.
at those strings.
You
and
know,
start,
I do kind of enjoy that thought exercise a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Uncle Sam's powers, though, like as that belief wanes, he loses the ability to change his size, and he doesn't just. It's not just you exist or you blink out, but it's like the level of his power will wane, his strength will falter, his size will shrink, and then it might be an either you revert to whoever the host is or you disappear entirely.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Let's go to the last question.
Sure.
From Crimson Raven, who asks, do the Freedom Fighters interact with other superhero teams, or are they just out there doing their own thing?
I mean, they do. So, like I said, they were in Infinite Crisis. They fight at the Battle of Metropolis. Bunch of them fucking bite it. You know, the other thing with Infinite Crisis is, you know, Alexander Luthor Jr. needs characters whose origins began on other worlds to tie them to the Anti-Monitor Tower so he can blow the multiverse back open. So he takes Power Girl, and that helps, you know, rebirth Earth 2. He takes Black Adam, and that helps rebirth Earth S. He takes, I think, Uncle Sam or a couple of the Freedom Fighters to help rebirth Earth X. All of those things. So, yeah, they're certainly part of that. They were part of the All-Star Squadron, so that's them teaming up with Justice Society characters like we talked about. Yeah, I mean, in the Arrowverse even, the Ray and Citizen Cold, we saw them in the Crisis on Earth X crossover with which was the Nazi Earth thing. Yeah. But they also did like a animated Freedom Fighters short series where you got to meet the other characters like Black Condor and shit like that, or maybe it was just the Rays series, but you go to that Earth and you meet some Freedom Fighters. So, you know, like you get some crossover with like in the Arrowverse with, you know, the characters like, you know, Green Arrow and Flash and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, the Freedom Fighters do interact, but again, I think they don't do enough on their own. I'm pretty sure a couple of them have had the odd like mini series. Like Uncle Sam might have, or you know, Black Condor might have, but again, they're probably largely on their own. Whereas there's that kind of thing where it's like a character that can maybe do a mini series and then also just guest spot on other things. And I think that's the bit where it's a gap for the Freedom Fighters. Like how there's probably a few examples, but like they're not as frequent. Would you be like reading an issue of Superman and be like guest starring Uncle Sam, or like, you know what I mean? And maybe there's a reason for that, but I feel like I need more of that out of them.
Totally. Well, that was the last question.
Oh shit!
Which you know what fucking time it is.
Oh my god!
Keep rolling.
It's so insane that you did that right now, because for some reason, as I was pulling into work this morning, I was like locking my car, and I think I was trying to do the check it out, but instead I did the like and then it was like special.
What? Wow.
This time I'm gonna let it all come out.
Wow.
My way or the highway. I don't know why. I had like a Limp Bizkit moment this morning.
It's because we're doing the double last week.
I'm not doing new metal, baby.
Whoa, you're fully... Really?
Well, I guess there's one... No, I'd call them more like alt metal than new metal.
Interesting. Yeah. Maybe you're changing what I assumed you were going to do.
I'm telling you.
Well, we're not talking about that because we're playing everyone's favorite
We're not talking
game.
about it because it happened last week.
Yeah. You saw. Can you guess the name of the character based on someone who's not read comic books can describe that character to us? I send a photo of a DC character to my wife who does not read comic books. She sends back 4 clues describing what she sees. The doctor does not know who we are talking about, but I do because I'm a stinker. Oh, what a little pudding.
Easy.
Little pumpkin pie. You want to take a bite?
No.
Yeah, swallow this pumpkin pie.
I'm all right. I'm good.
Num, bitch.
Freddy, again. You've been on such a Freddy Krueger. Like, bon appetit, bitch.
It's a good joke.
You can just say bitch at the end of something and be like, it's Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. You know. Yeah, not great when you do it in the workplace, but
Yeah, you're tied up in a lot of litigation right now.
Yeah. Here's your brand guidelines, bitch.
Freddy, anyone?
Get it? Why are you leaving? What do you mean you're calling the cops? All right, 4 clues. Are you ready?
I am.
You got last week's.
I did.
So let's see if you can keep it rolling.
What?
Okay, first clue. Blue mummy.
Blue mummy?
Mm-hmm. Blue mummy.
Negative man.
No.
Rebus.
No. Rebus McIntyre.
Yeah.
Rebus.
Yeah. Rebus Philbin.
Yeah. That's good.
A blue mummy?
Yep.
Next clue.
Next clue. Insane eyelash prosthetics.
Insane eyelash prosthetics.
Uh-huh.
And blue mummy.
Uh-huh. That's right.
Oh. 10,000 fish.
I knew you couldn't keep it. Blue mummy. Insane eyelash prosthetics.
Huh. That's...
I mean, yeah.
No, I want another clue.
Another clue.
Yeah.
Giant shoulder pads.
Ragman. I just got to throw some stuff out there.
Look,
so
you don't have to quantify it.
I do. I do. I'm deeply insecure. Last clue.
The last clue. Centipede body pigtails.
Blue mummy.
Mm-hmm.
Eyelashes.
Mm-hmm.
A third one. And then centipede body pigtails.
Giant shoulder pads.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew that. It's not like a messed up blue beetle.
No.
Or like the scarab or like an alternate blue beetle or something.
No.
This is going to make me mad, isn't it? You're being very calm, and that usually means you think I should get it.
No, I don't think you should get it.
Okay. Blue mummy. Is it...
I blew, mummy.
Is it Lazara?
No.
That would have been green. Idiot. You worthless piece of shit.
God, this really has the effect I'm looking for.
Blue mummy. I'm getting really hung up on that. Maybe too much.
Yep.
Eyelashes. Shoulder pads. It's not like one of the creature commandos or something. Or like, is it GI Zombie or...
Nope.
It's... I don't know.
This is... they're associated with the Blood Syndicate.
Oh, fuck. You went milestone on me. Shit. I don't know. Fuck. Sorry.
This character is... Kwai.
You know what? Those are pretty good clues. Those are not bad clues.
That's right.
I gotcha. All right.
I pulled it from my own collection.
Very nice.
Always nice when I get to do that.
Now you just got to read them.
We would love to hear from you, residents. Or
moving on.
Send us a question for next week's episode.
Next week is Fanagar, baby.
Holy shit, are we already there?
And how do we start Fanagar? It's fight night, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's right. Knuckle up, bitches.
Yeah. All 3 deep.
Yeah. Wow.
I had to make sure there were 3 knuckles.
Sweetie.
Yeah, for this year's fight night.
Yeah.
Tag teams.
Back again.
No.
Tag teams. Back again. Party on, party in. Let the fun begin.
Ugh. Exhausted. We're doing tag teams.
Okay.
So instead of putting in one character, you're putting your tag team, and we will randomly pair up the tag team matches.
That's fun.
So you're putting in your team, not who they're fighting. Put in your tag teams, and it's a tag team fight night next week.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like when we beat the shit out of Residents, but this works too.
Yeah, baby. Oh, I guess we should do another Resident fight night.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Tag team Resident fight night.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's tag team.
It'll be a lot faster to get through the episode that
way. We've got more Residents than the last time we did that, though.
It'll be faster.
Okay, sorry, sir. Well, you can send those to our various social media platforms like our Facebook,
Dr. DC Podcast,
our Twitter,
at Dr. DC,
our Instagram,
Dr. DC Podcast,
our email,
drdcpodcast@gmail.com.
We are on Reddit, and we have a subreddit,
r/Dr_DC.
We have an internet phone, and that phone number is
208-917-3238.
That's right. That's the doc phone, baby, and it's 28917-DCEU.
If you're of the nasty variety.
That's correct. We're young and cool. That's why we have a TikTok.
At Dr. DC.
We're old and irrelevant. That's why we have a website.
drdcpodcast.com or .ca.
I'm needy, so I want reviews. Give me those reviews. Whatever platform you listen to our podcast on, I bet there's a fucking review part on there. So if you haven't done it or haven't done it twice, do it.
Aggressive. And if you don't do it on, if it's not on Apple Podcasts or Facebook, take a screenshot, send it to us.
Yeah, we don't get fucking notified, and I'm not looking around for it. So
well, yeah, we know you won't. Yeah. I like that Bruno was like, "Did somebody have a spreadsheet to track the episodes?" It's like, "Oh, we do."
Yeah.
Richard doesn't use that.
I'm gonna fucking use that. I got my own document.
I made it for you.
And my own document.
I also have my own document that you used to populate your own document, which is the most insecure thing in the world.
It's not about insecurity. It's about wanting it the way that I do it.
I actually think it is about insecurity because you won't remember what to say if it's not in your document.
That's not insecurity. That's inability to remember things. It's not about me not feeling good about myself. That exists, but it's not in regards to why I do that.
Wow.
Yeah. Ladies.
Nice.
Bitch.
I'm not insecure, bitch. It's Freddy Krueger in therapy.
Yeah, so I was having a really hard day, and like I just feel like my worth isn't what it's supposed to be.
Bitch. That's a good sketch. That's a very funny sketch. I really like it, really opening up, but ends every sentence with bitch.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe my mother didn't love me enough. Bitch.
I just really need someone to talk to right now, bitch.
I just feel like I'm giving so much and I'm not getting enough, bitch.
It's really funny.
It's just to be a two-way street, bitch.
Oh my god.
You can also send us physical mail to either Richard Eden or Reed Vanier at 301 Hogue Street. That's Hoge Street, Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada, Y1A1V8. If you want to continue that support and give us some money, and you get something out of it.
Cha-ching.
Wow.
I was doing
num num num.
I mean, that's what money does for me.
Yeah. It is what it goes towards.
Yeah. Primarily.
Well, you've got a way that you can get something out of it on the back end. Why don't you subscribe to our Patreon?
Patreon.com/DrDC. There's a $1, $5, $7 level. They all give you access to the Discord, our awesome fan community.
On the back end.
On the back end. Yeah, we get it, bitch. And then at the higher levels, you get extra episodes, videos, theme pools, all sorts of fun stuff that helps support us. Also, by the way, because Fanagar is coming, the Fanagar Tournament of Pandering is going to be starting
that's
too.
right.
That'll be on Twitter, and then for the patrons, they get to vote in the like the second chance tournament. So anyone eliminated from the first round of the Tournament of Pandering goes into the second chance tourney, has the opportunity to leap all the way to the final.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, if you want even more content from us that you don't have to pay for, though you fucking should, is our whole other podcast, Ghost Facers.
Ooh, Ghostfacers, a Supernatural rewatch.
That's right.
Where we talk real world monster and behind the scenes stuff of every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We're partway into season 5 right now.
That's right. You want to get on there? We talk about sandwiches.
Yeah.
So
Monster lore,
thing.
sandwiches,
supernatural.
grammar.
Yeah. Things that you associate with supernatural.
Yeah. Ooh, what's spooky on the grammar?
Whoa. Oh.
You can meet characters we come up with over we create characters on this show, of course, but have you met Grave Navarro?
You never
the
will.
Vampire singer of Blood Addiction?
That's right.
Of Sam's Addiction.
That's what it was, yeah.
/ also still a reality TV show host.
Oh, yeah, well, obviously. Yeah.
The two artists.
Yes.
Your challenge this week
is make a steak coffin. Vampire stuff.
Bitch.
That is it for this week. Ciao, ciao.
You almost said say goodbye, bitch. You almost did the Ghostbusters said. Yeah. Adios. Bitch.
They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure. They are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.